Hey, good morning, everybody. John here with FNP Wargamers, FNP Morning Show. Hopefully, you're having a great Wednesday morning. It is lots of frame delays on my thingamajig here. What's going on? Uh-oh. Don't know what's going on. So, there we go. Whatever it is, it's stabilized. Cool. All right, sorry about that. So, anyways, welcome. This is a live show, so those of you catching up on this on YouTube later, that's the reason why I'm not editing anything out. I'm just doing this all raw videos. So we're going to go ahead and cover today some, of course, anything from Warhammer community and or Games Workshop. And we will also go over some stuff from Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we'll also go ahead and tackle some other cool stuff that's another bad news. So let's get into this because let's get into some bad news first. Let's go ahead and start this off. If you head over to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this gentleman's name, but he is a rules writer for Horus Heresy and really Forge World. And after some period of time, he is actually now leaving Forge World. And it looks like he's going to be going to work for Creative Assembly to write for designing computer games. So, good for him. Congratulations. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing what he's got coming down the line. However, that leaves just one person now for one rules writer for the Horus Heresy through Forge World. Not the novels, not the lore, but the actual game itself. So what does that mean in the future? Well, as he stated, when they do the work, and we've talked about this before, when they do this, they do these projects, all these different games, they have stuff planned for years. And it just, they might lay down, hey, here's our roadmap, for the next 2 years, we're going to be handling these rules and it's going to be in these books. And then it comes down to, okay, well, let's do the framework. And then after the framework is done, it just comes into filling in the blanks. I've done something similar with writing our RPG that I'm still working on. You guys have heard me talk about that before. And I've developed the framework for that game at the beginning of the year, following pretty much an industry standard for designing a game, designing a novel, anything. And now I'm filling in the gaps, and it gets a lot easier as you hit certain benchmarks. And that's what they've done here, is everything's ready to go. And as he said, I'm going to keep consulting and playtesting for the team as long as he's able to. So, that's still good news, but that's also, ladies and gents, that's also something we've talked about before, is that Forge World is going to be winding down its rules teams, especially as the Warhammer 40,000 rules are going to be written by the Games Workshop side of the house. Now, yes, they are the same company. I don't care what people say or their misperceptions or misconceptions or whatever. It's all under one company. That's just another branch of Games Workshop. It is all one company. So as the rules writers over at Games Workshop take over the Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar rules, that is narrowing that window for the writers for Horus Heresy. And that's all those people are going to be doing, is handling the Horus Heresy, at least in its twilight years, because let's face it, this is the twilight time. We've gotten almost all of the models are out now. The only thing we're missing is Jakati Khan Primarch model, and we're missing the Emperor model. And as they talked to now, if they still stick to that program that they talked about, like 2012, I think I'm going to say 2012 timeframe, 2011 to 2013, somewhere in between those 3 years. There's going to be an Emperor model, which we know for 100% that there will be an Emperor model. I'll get back to that in a second. And we also, they had also stated that there will be an additional Horus model, but this will be like the Horus Ascended, when he's got, the backing of all the Chaos Gods. So a new version of Horus, probably from that lovely art where we see him all looking demonic, kind of facing off against the Emperor with Sanguinius down at his feet. So that's cool. The reason why we know that there's an Emperor's model is because the rules right now allow you to, or certain models can be fielded or have to give up being the warlord for the army if the Emperor is on the field. So right there, that means that the Emperor is going to be a model. We've already known that, but we just haven't seen it yet. So we're going to see a Jakati Khan before we see an Emperor. God, I hope. That'd be so stupid if they didn't. At any rate, as the story winds down in the novels, so too does the story wind down in the tabletop game. So this is actually this makes sense, is what I'm trying to say, is that, you know, he knows, he can see the writing on the wall, or, hey, you know, this is your last project, you need to, and he's like, okay, I probably need to start looking for a new job, that sort of thing, a new career, because I've had a great 10-year ride, now it's time to go. So what's going to happen after Horus Heresy concludes? No idea. Will they, I mean, we know that there's really no history. Well, we're playing the history if you're playing Warhammer 40,000. The only thing that they might do, so they can just cash in on that little cash cow a little bit more, is do I think it's called the Scouring. It's the event that takes place afterwards, where they go and hunt down all the traitors. It goes on for like 600 years or maybe 1,000 years or so. I don't know. I think they're just going to let it go, mainly because sales are down for Horus Heresy. And that's not because it's a lack of people playing the game. There's people playing the game, people that are super excited about being involved in it. What's happening is the secondary or tertiary market, the recasters, are wreaking havoc on their profit margin. So it's becoming, it's just not profitable when you're competing against people that are selling it like 70% off. I mean, yes, it's cheaper product, but it's still 70% off. So anyways, long story short, this gentleman, I'm not going to butcher his name, is leaving. It does not mean that Horus Heresy is dead. They still have the rules, one rules writer there, the main writer, and they have all the work that they've done to prep for the next few years. So don't panic. It's all good. It is a writing on the wall, and you should have known that this is going to happen. The Horus Heresy does end. So just be ready. All right, let's get it back into Warhammer 40,000. Let's talk about Advent Day calendar. Our Advent Day. What is this? Oh, I wonder why they blurred those images. That's interesting. At any rate, we got number 16 around here somewhere. 16, what is that? That looks like a fantasy hammer. So probably something, my guess, ladies and gents, this is going to be something geared towards Cities of Sigmar. That's the impression I'm going to be getting there. I doubt this is a Warhammer 40,000. That's not a very decorative axe. The connecting point to the haft looks like something more medieval. The glove looks medieval. It's not highly decorative or fancy synthetic weaves or anything like that. So this is definitely, I'm going to say 99% that it is Age of Sigmar. And my best bet, since it's not all super armored up, it's not a Stormcast Eternal, it's very likely that this is going to be something for Cities of Sigmar. So that'd be cool. That'd be really, 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 really cool. I'm excited about that. Okay, let's move on. I didn't want to talk too much about that 'cause it's all rumors and speculation. Now, this is a cool thing in a way. So buyer beware. So just keep this in mind, ladies and gents, that the Battleforge app that I've been very critical of since its release and very recently, I'm not going to go too much into the Warhammer 40,000 apps. Battleforge, which is the army building, I got that mixed up. Battleforge, the army building or army list builder, which is in its beta edition. You can download the app right now, sign up. You will have to put your credit card information in if you want to get that free. I don't know if it's even a month now, but basically get it for free, be able to try it out. I think it is. You get to try it out for free. Now, what is significant about talking about this today is that if you have it today and you go in, build your favorite list, etc., follow all the rules, and you'll need to go to this webpage. Excuse me. You can just go download the app, as they say, claim your 1 month free trial. Oh, so it is a 1 month free trial, but you will have to put your credit card information in. So buyer beware that when January rolls around, or January, if you were to get it today, so what about January 15th? Because it's 31 days in this month, so 15th, that you'd need to cancel it if you didn't want to pay for it. So, at any rate, you get access to everything. It's really cool. Yay. Then once you've put together the force you've always wanted, so build an army list, and you only get to do this once. You get to export your list and share it on Twitter or Instagram, along with the hashtag 40K Battleforge to enter. It's that easy. So that's all you have to do. And what will happen is that on January, I believe it's January 6th, on January 7th, you have until January 7th, at which point they'll randomly select 5 winners who will receive every Citadel miniature in their army up to a maximum value of $1,000 US. That's really awesome. Make sure you do click on the terms and conditions. There is another, if you're an old-fashioned sort, you can also enter by planning an army list and emailing it to competitions@gwplc.com. Anyways, they still announced the winner in January. It's a chance. Download the app for free. Hold on to it at least until January 7th. Maybe a little bit after. Push it to the end. Even if you have to pay for the extra month, because who knows, they might be like, well, let's see if he's a subscriber. Oh, he's not a subscriber, so he is ineligible. That is probably going to be under the terms and conditions, which I'm not going to pull up and read. But hey, you know what, guys? For downloading an app and having it free for a month, maybe having to pay for $5 for another month, why not? It's a chance to win up to $1,000, 2,000 point army. That's not too shabby. I've already talked about wanting to download the app so I can give you guys a proper review of it, my first impressions of it. Now I've got to. Dang, man. It's an opportunity to get a free army. So why not? I'm definitely going to try it. I hope you guys will too. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to keep this up because I'm going to want to bounce back and talk about this. All right, so let me take a drink for my cup of coffee. Still a little hot. Let's talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol. So we talked about She-Hulk a lot last week and a little bit the week before, and when they revealed her very many months ago. So we knew that we now know she is the leader of A-Force, which she was in the comics during the Secret Wars. She was in charge of that nation and of Arcadia or whatever. She had the all-female team. Very successful comic. Wasn't even all wokeness. It was literally it was a female nation, and she led all these female heroes, and it was really, really good. Critics overall gave it very super positive reviews, well over 80% overall. So really cool. So knowing that she is coming out, and we've seen her very funny abilities, really cool abilities, I've got to say. I love that they've tied in her old comic book, The Sensational She-Hulk, written by John Byrne. A lot of the terminology, a lot of the fourth wall breaking in there for naming some of her ability, like clear the courtroom and everything. But we got a glimpse of her upcoming cards for A-Force and, of course, unaffiliated. The first is A-Force Assemble. I'm going to do my best to read this. It's a little blurry. An A-Force character may spend 3 power to play this card. When an allied character is defending against an attack this round, you get to add 1 dice to defense for each other allied A-Force character within range 2. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. So if you're about ready to get walloped, then you spend 3 power, and if you have a bunch of buddies nearby, then you're going to get a whole bunch of extra dice. That's cool. I don't see that one being played that much, but that's cool. Agents of Smash, if you've seen, I don't know if it popped up in comics, but I know Agents of Smash showed up, and they had an actual Hulk in the Agents of Smash cartoon on Disney Plus now. So I'm not sure if it's a comic book thing. Basically, it was like the Hulk, She-Hulk, and Rick Jones became some kind of weird thing, and then there was a couple other characters. I think the Hulk's son from Battle World and all that stuff, or World War Hulk. Anyway, so it's unaffiliated. Let's see here. If Hulk and She-Hulk are within range 2 of the same interactive terrain feature of size 5 or less, they may spend 3 power each to play this card. Choose Hulk or She-Hulk to throw the terrain feature. Normally, they can only throw size 4. Throwing a size 5, that's straight up 5 damage. You don't even have to roll. That's just 5 damage that the other people have got to absorb. Ooh, dang. But paying 3 power each, well, they generate a lot of power, so that could be a good ability. There's a lot of other better cards out there, but if you are going to run Hulk and She-Hulk, just know that that's 12 points out of usually a 15 to 17 point limit that you have. So, that's crazy. Special delivery. A-Force reactive ability. So this is when it's reactive, that means that it's in reply to somebody else's action against you. When an A-Force character with flight begins a move action within range 2 of an allied She-Hulk, during its activation, they may spend 1 power each to play this card before moving the miniature. When the active character ends this move, place She-Hulk within range 1 of it. She-Hulk may immediately perform one of her actions that has a listed cost of 0, listed power cost of 0. So basically, have her nearby with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel on her activation. This is even after, if this has nothing to do with if She-Hulk's been active or not. So this is a good way to get her even more active. And if I remember correctly, Captain Marvel's got a huge flight range. So she could pick up She-Hulk on her one action, fly her along, drop her off, and then still do her action after the She-Hulk immediately gets to do another action. So usually get her in range 1 of somebody, or range 2 of somebody, and she can do her sensational uppercut. Oh man, Special Delivery is a good card, guys. That one has got to be in it, but you need to make sure you have an A-Force flyer, so Captain Marvel likely, or maybe Wasp, and the She-Hulk. So Stalwart Determination, A-Force reactive power again. During the power phase, any number of allied A-Force characters may spend 1 power to play this card. Oh, okay. During the power phase. Characters that spend power to play this card cannot be pushed or thrown by enemy effects this round. Ooh. So at the power phase is when you gain a power. So you could sacrifice that, knowing, especially if you know that, well, this character is going to be in range of being pushed or thrown this turn. Then, yeah, that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. That's going to be highly dependent on who your opponent is bringing, but that's a good one. And here's the A-Force list, the roster. It's a very large roster, and I expect it to grow as more characters come out. And of course, this has all the female characters minus Hela, who is a bad girl. Plus she's a goddess, so she's not in there. She was never a member. But we've got She-Hulk, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Okoye, Shuri, Valkyrie, Gamora, Wasp, Angela, Medusa, the other version of Black Widow, the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's the newest one that came out with in the same set as Hawkeye, Crystal, and Black Cat. We have not seen Black Cat yet, but that's awesome that we get to see that Black Cat is coming. So yay! All the other ones we did know were coming. Angela and the Enchantress isn't on there, but she's a villain. So Enchantress and Angela, we just saw it. They're about ready to roll out. Probably, I'll need to double check either this month or it might be next month, but probably next month in January. This is cool. This is really cool because now this is probably one of the largest rosters of characters. Maybe the Avengers, as they've been adding on characters, it's gotten this big. But right now, this is probably the largest roster of characters. And that's awesome. That's really awesome, especially for anybody that really likes any of these characters. They want to run an all-female team. Maybe you've got a wife, a daughter, or yourself. You want to run A-Force or an all-female team. I want to run an all-female team because it's just going to look cool and sexy and awesome. So I'm excited. She-Hulk is one of my favorite characters. She's in my top 10 list. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, guys and gals. Wow, we're going to be under the wire here. So there was some other rumor that I wanted to talk about or address. I can't think of what the rumor is. And I should have wrote it down. So sorry about that. We're just going to have to skip over it. Oh, I know what's happening here. It's this stupid Flash thing that they've got going on where everything is kind of raining or snowing. At any rate, let's go ahead and pull this off. Oh, yeah, not any rumor. Okay, sorry, guys. Let's pull this up. This will be the last thing we'll talk about. Let me take a drink of coffee. So, over on, various websites have pulled this up. So I went ahead and made another graphic. We talked about this the other day with the Plague Guard or the Plague Marines and Mortarion. I just did another one, actually almost a copy and paste. So we have the Shroud Terminators and the Blight Lord Terminators, Deathstroke, sorry. And we've got their new rule sheets that are coming inside of the how to build, inside the box set. So whenever you have your instructions, they always have the rules in the back. So here are the rules. So here's what we know. Now, first let me go ahead and go with what we don't know. What we don't know is that what all their extra special abilities are going to be. This is only showing off their statistics. So that's all I can talk about. So start with Deathstroke Terminators. These are like the top dogs. These are like the most elite of elite in the Death Guard. They are the personal bodyguard for Mortarion. So let's talk about them. I believe, and I didn't put this down there, but I'm pretty sure they got +1 movement, so they go 5 inches now instead of 4. Their improvements, it looks like +1 weapon skill. I got this mixed around. +1 weapon skill, +1 wound, +1 attack, but they did get -1 strength. So before they were 3+ to hit, and with their weapon skill, they had a 5 strength, and they had only 2 attacks. Now they're at 3 or 4. I'm sorry. They had 3 attacks. Now they're at 4. They had 2 wounds. Now they're at 3. So, and the other thing that changed was the Man Reaper. That's their big power scythes. Excuse me. Now do a flat 2 damage versus D3 damage. It's something we've been seeing across the board. And be honest with you, this is better. I would rather have that flat damage over the random damage. And I would hate to be rolling that damage and get so many ones, because you have like a 33.5 or 33.3% chance to get a 1. That's not good. Or 33.3 to get a 3 damage. So this is better. Plus, when you add in the fact that they're getting an extra bonus attack, it's making up. Goodness gracious. I apologize. So overall, that looks really good. When you combine their aura to reduce somebody's, their toughness down by 1, that loss of strength, it basically is counteracted. And plus, they have that +3 to strength for the Man Reaper. So instead of being strength 8, they're strength 7 now. But they're going to be, let's say you go up against somebody else that's toughness 8. Well, that toughness 8 Before, yeah, they would be hitting on 4s. Now that toughness 8 is now toughness 7, so they're still hitting on 4s. But it becomes even better when you're hitting lower strength creatures. So overall, wonderful improvement. We don't know what the points are, but overall, this is by far massive improvements to the Deathstroke. We might actually see them on there. Deathstroke are not the highest selling box that comes out of the Death Guard. And now let's get to the Blight Lord Terminators. These are the regular Terminators. I say regular, but they're Blight Lord Terminators. They got all sorts of funky Death Guard abilities. Across the board, they got +1 movement, +1 wound, and +1 attack. So instantly got upgrades. Still don't know the points or their special abilities, but overall, really, really good. Now we're going to get down to their abilities. I'm trying to remember the names of these items. The first up is the Blight Launcher. Basically fires gas grenades. It does 2 damage versus D3 damage, an improvement. The next is the Combi Flamer or the Combi Melta, Combi Plasma. There are no changes there. The next one was, I believe it's the Plague Spewer. No changes there. That's why I've got nothing typed up there. The Reaper Autocannon, no changes. Now we come to the Blight Sword. The Blight Sword got a +1 strength enhancement, so that's really cool. +1 strength, but nothing else changed. Now I'm going to sneeze. Oh, goodness, man, I'm just afflicted with all sorts of things this morning. So +1 strength. Overall, that's a nice improvement. We'll probably be seeing a lot of those because a strength 5 -3 1 damage weapon with 3 base attacks is still pretty gosh darn good. And if you're taking a squad of, probably imagine this is a squad of 5, that's a lot of attacks with a Blight Sword. Next up is I think it's the Bubonic Axe is what it's called. The only difference is that it gained, that's a -1 damage. Sorry, -1 damage. It was +2 strength. I might have got that wrong. +2 strength, -2 AP, and it's 1 damage now instead of 2 damage. That's right, because there's a heavier axe that got the increase in damage. But this one, it's scratch that. That should not be +1 damage. Should be -1 damage. And then the last one is the Plague Flail. We still don't know all the rules for this. Normally, the Plague Flail, for each attack you make, you get D3 attacks. We don't know if that has changed. The only thing we do know has changed is it lost 1 point of strength. So which makes sense. The mace weapons and such usually come down to a lower strength as opposed to having that higher strength. They leave that for the more brutal weapons. Because it makes sense, that a giant Man Reaper blade, a giant scythe, or a big old 2-handed axe is going to do more damage than, say, something that whips around a flail or an axe, a regular axe. So, and it also kind of like gives you incentive to go, man, that's not a lot of strength. But those Man Reapers, they got all the same improvements, and they got a higher strength attack and better damage and AP and all that. So it kind of like, I'm going to look over here at these Deathstroke. There's a lot of marketing that does get involved, or that's wrapped around this stuff. So just keep that in mind. Overall, I would say that both sets of Terminators are a big improvement. Just having that +1 wound, +1 attack, and the +1 movement is a major, major boon. Major boon. Yeah, they're going a little slow compared to the 6-inch guys, but you know what? 5 inches is still good. It's still good. So they're better than the 4-inch move that they had before. But that bonus attack and that bonus wound, man, with all those 2 wound weapons out there that are popping up everywhere now, this puts them at a very distinct advantage. That extra wound is so impactful. So we still need to see what the rest of the rules are, but right now, Death Guard are shaping up to flip the meta on its head. I can almost guarantee it. And I'm excited about that. So the Space Marine players can have a challenge versus instead of just the Harlequins. But it also, because we can stop hearing people complain about Space Marines, and we can now start complaining about another faction. So, and it's very funny that the win records right now for Harlequins is really absolutely insane. They're having a heyday right now, and nobody's complaining about them. People are still complaining about Space Marines. It's a weird thing. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyways, I'm not going to do all that too much. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I will be back on Friday morning, and we'll be talking about whatever news is coming up. Hopefully I can remember what that rumor is I wanted to chat about. Later on tonight, we will be messing around with a Disco Lord, or the Lord Discordant, on Havoc Maker Studio. We will be painting him, and I've another model. I'm not sure what it was. Oh, it's a Contemptor Dreadnought for the World Eaters. So both of those are going to be World Eater themed creatures. We're going to be working on both of them. It'll be a little bit longer show, but it'll still be fun. Join me and we'll chat and hang out, talk about rules and all that other gaming stuff. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. If I don't see you tonight on Havoc Maker Studio, I'll see you back here Friday morning. I will get this uploaded today. As soon as I click off, we're going to get this uploaded to YouTube. Make sure you leave a like, a follow, subscribe if you can, and leave a comment, especially gents on YouTube. Let me know what you think, especially if I can improve the show or anything. I'd really, really appreciate that. Have yourself a wonderful day. Please social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, have some hand sanitizer, brush your teeth, and wear some deodorant, gamers. Please, please, please. See you guys later.